Don't let an injury keep you from doing the things you love. Trust the team at Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center, specializing in what moves you. Learn more at bhosc.com.
What makes a credit union different from a bank? At Highmark Credit Union, it starts with you. We're member-owned, not shareholder-driven. That means our earnings go back to you through better rates, lower fees, and personal service. Unlike big banks, we put people first. You're not just an account number, you're part of a community. Highmark Credit Union. Local, personal, and here for you. We'll make it happen. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Attention sports parents and ballers of all ages, Rapid City has a new sports facility that you have to check out. E3 Sports Complex on East North Street, featuring 4 full courts for basketball and volleyball. E3 Sports Complex is here to serve the community and wants all athletes of any age to come and experience expert training, coaching, and the opportunity to unlock your athletic potential. Memberships are available now. Come to play at E3 Sports Complex. Learn more at e3sports.org.
Where you buy your next pre-owned vehicle matters. And at Spearfish Motors, it matters to us too. And because of that, we don't buy our vehicles from auctions. Instead, we locally source our pre-owned inventory, trades from our friends, our neighbors, and people right here in our community. So you can feel confident knowing that the vehicle that you're driving has a known history. And that's what locally sourced really means. See us today at Spearfish GMC Cadillac or shop online at spearfishmotors.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Football, as a report from ESPN says, 6-time Super Bowl champion head coach Bill Belichick did not receive enough votes to be enshrined as a first-ballot Hall of Famer in Canton in the class of 2026. The report says Belichick needed 40 out of 50 votes to be able to be enshrined in the first time around. However, the reports cite some sources as saying voters held Spygate and Deflategate against Belichick's candidacy. Belichick reportedly told an associate close to him when he found out the news on Friday, quote, 6 Super Bowls isn't enough, end quote, Bill Belichick won't be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Joe Brady will be the next head coach of the Buffalo Bills, promoted from the offensive coordinator position to get a 5-year deal as their head coach. Jets and offensive coordinator Tanner Engstrand have parted ways, while the Broncos fired offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi. Titans are hiring Brian Daboll to be their new offensive coordinator. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, good Tuesday afternoon to you. Welcome in. The Nate Brown Show is ready. We are rolling on a Tuesday. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio. It is always a great day in South Dakota. You can book that. The Nate Brown Show on KWSN Sioux Falls. Welcome in. Also on Fox Sports Rapid City. Here we go. Great guest lineup tonight. We're going to be popping from high school to college to the pros. We do have you covered. There's a ton of stuff today. You would think Championship Sunday's in the books. Everything's over. Slow time now. Countdown to the Super Bowl. Not necessarily. We got high school, we got college, we got pro, and it is good stuff tonight. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on X right now. Follow the show and watch us live at Nate Brown Show, so I want you in there. If you're on X, follow the show at Nate Brown Show and watch us live on your phone. You can go to YouTube channel. It's up right now. The Nate Brown Show. Search for us on YouTube. If you're a YouTube guy, The Nate Brown Show. Got us. Subscribe, and we're good to go. And one more place. We're streaming right now on Midwest Sports Plus, the new high school sports streaming app covering live games across South Dakota, and the Nate Brown Show live Monday through Thursday on Midwest Sports Plus, streaming right now. Download the app, and you're good to go. Let's look at the guest lineup, then we'll get going today. Thought-provoking sports talk for South Dakota. Dan Swartos coming on from Pierre tonight, South Dakota High School Activities Association Executive Director. A lot to discuss with him, courtesy of the board meeting last week. Dan Swartos is in tonight. Appreciate his time. Always Dan, you always come on when we ask you to have great discussions and inform the audience, so we appreciate that. Dan Swartos coming up from Pierre. We will go to Jerry Brewer, national sports columnist for The Athletic. Jerry Brewer talking Sam Darnold and more. Bills have a new coach. Jerry's in on that. Mike McCarthy introduced for the Steelers. I mean, there's stuff, man. Jerry Brewer's on tonight, national columnist for The Athletic. It's a Brian Noe Tuesday. Fox Sports Radio's national host of Countdown to Kickoff is Brian Noe, and he's on tonight live from Las Vegas. We'll go to Nebraska. Huskers taking on Michigan tonight. Huge college basketball game. When have we said that? Nebraska's ranked number 5, trying to get to win number 20. Can you believe it? Huskers, I saw they were underdogs by 10.5. Is that what I saw? 10.5? People think Michigan's going to blow them out tonight in Michigan. Jake Sorensen's on talking Husker Nebraska ball. Jake Sorensen's in Lincoln, 93.7 The Ticket. He's on the morning show, and he'll talk some Husker hoops tonight. Is this the real deal, man? Husker hoops? It's unbelievable. This is the year they're going to win a tournament game. It has to be. If not now, when? You remember that with the Josh Allen saying, how'd that go? Tuesday show looks good. Those are the guests. Here you are. Get you on if you want, 605-720-1067. Lock that number in. Be a part of the program. We'll try and do our best there and get everybody in. 605-720-1067. That's the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. 2 great locations, East River, Brandon locations outstanding. The Fun Zone Arcades, big time. And East 10th Street in Sioux Falls. Drop by tonight. The Pizza Ranch, locally owned and operated. Barron's Wilson text line also ready if you want to contribute to the program and the conversation. Hit us on the text line directly. Those come in here. We'll read those out. 605-720-1067. All right. So much to cover tonight. There's some big South Dakota basketball proposal. There's a big South Dakota high school basketball proposal that I want to go over tonight. So hang with us tonight. We're not going to get to that right here, right now. Hang with us on this because this is a big one. It's just a proposal, but I think it's wild. I think it is wild. It's gonna touch some nerves in South Dakota. People are going to be, I think, passionate about this. So South Dakota high school basketball proposal, I will get into that later on. Let me touch on this college story that's going here this week. So, and this touches Jacks fans and Yotes fans and Bison fans, if there are any. Are you guys here from Fargo? Yeah, I guess. So Football Scoop grabbed Zach Barnett. He's the national writer for Football Scoop. We've had Zach on the show numerous times. We love the guys at Football Scoop. They captured this interview from the North Dakota State Athletic Director, Matt Larson. And what has North Dakota State been talked about over the years? You guys know this. Is North Dakota State going to go FBS? Are they going? I mean, it's just been talked about and thrown around. And our friend Mike McFeely says it every other week. Not quite, but it's close, right, Mike? So is NDSU going to jump up to the FBS? And there's rumors, where there's smoke, there's fire. They're going to go to the Mountain West. And so people have thrown that out a lot. And I think it's something that has to be talked about because it's not just thrown out in thin air, right? It's not just grabbed out, throwing spaghetti against the wall. This is something that NDSU is looking at, right? And now we officially find that out. This is an interesting one today. FootballScoop.com took this interview from Matt Larson, who was on with Dom Izzo. NDSU athletic director is now making it official. He's making it official. What? That they are interested in going FBS. So it's he's like on record. I think before, we'll see how it plays out. Yeah, we'll just see. We haven't really had, too many internal discussions. We're putting ourselves in position to do whatever. Whatever comes next for NDSU, we'll be ready. That's how usually ADs do that. And by the way, I've had Justin Sell on this show, AD at South Dakota State. I've had John Schemmel on, USD athletic director. And they both have kind of had to go down that path. I've asked them about what's the discussion going on between FCS and FBS. Where are you guys at? And Justin Sell said, hey, We want to be competing at the highest level we can, right? We need to be ready for what comes next. Where college sports going? So he's I'm not just saying he's playing that out. He's just kind of being measured in his response. Justin Sell, John Schemmel, same way. It's like, hey, we're at USD. We're just trying to see what happens next, and we want to make sure we're in the best position possible. That's usually the phrase. But I'm telling you today in this Matt Larson interview with Dom Izzo, NDSU is officially on the record. And here was the statement. Their interest in going FBS, quote, is as strong as it has ever been. So this is North Dakota State. Our interest in going FBS is as strong as it has ever been. So he's going fully on record saying North Dakota State's open for business. We're ready. Mountain West, what do you think? Where are we at? Let's get this thing going. We are ready to go FBS. And I haven't really seen it that strong from North Dakota State. It's essentially on the record. Now, my question to you is, where is South Dakota State? And I'm going to throw in USD on this. And we got to throw in UND on this as well. I know there's North Dakota folks out there's like, hey, where's UND in this mix? Same story at USD. They say, what about USD? I'm just telling you right now, if NDSU is officially on record now, Matt Larson, their AD, said, we want to go FBS. Our interest is as strong as it ever has been. He's saying we are ready to roll. What should South Dakota State be saying right now? If you're South Dakota State, do you look at that now and say, well, we got to be ready to rock and roll here a little bit? Do you even get more aggressive? Not just we need to be in the best position possible. The FCS has been good for us, and we've been competing for championships, and we need to put in the work to be ready for what comes next. Or are you going to say now, if you're at South Dakota State, if you're Justin Sell tonight, do you want your statement to be, we're ready to go as well? Whenever FBS is ready for us, Mountain West or whoever it is, we are ready to go as well. Because South Dakota State, here's my argument on it, guys. South Dakota State has to be close to North Dakota State in every aspect. There isn't an appetite for, well, let's let North Dakota State get ahead of us. Let's let North Dakota State go to the Mountain West, and South Dakota State will just stay FCS and kind of play this out. I don't believe there's an appetite for that, right? Am I wrong in saying, I guess if the Bison go, the Jacks are fine, and because that's why I always bring up USD and I always bring up UND, and you guys do on this show as well. USD's got to be saying, wherever South Dakota State goes, we want to go there too. This all comes hand in hand here. There isn't going to be, I don't believe, these schools staying back and a couple of the big ones moving forward. I don't believe that. Maybe I'm wrong. Is USD ready? Probably not yet. What about the football stadium, the dome and stuff? Is that FBS? Well, I don't know. You can have those arguments. Is UND ready to go? Well, they got some funds. I know that. We know UND already plays at a high level in D1 anyway. So you start thinking about it saying, wow, North Dakota State's now aggressive. Their athletic director's on the record. We are interested in FBS. It's as strong as it ever has been. Where does that put South Dakota State for you? It's my question of the day as we start this thing up on the Nate Brown Show. I wanted to touch on that. Do you think SDSU should be aggressive now? Do you just not stay behind the scenes and work deals and have phone conversations, and you got to do all of that stuff, by the way. You got to do all this stuff outside of the public arena. It can't be, all this stuff is in secret, but NDSU's gotten really aggressive now. Just with their AD saying, we're ready to roll. Would you want South Dakota State to be the same way? It's interesting how you got to play this game. You got to make sure you're ready to roll, and you're talking to the commissioners of the Mountain West and wherever else. But being that public with it, I thought that was a pretty big headline out of North Dakota State. Would you want South Dakota State to be aggressive, go on record, and just say, hey, we're ready to go FBS as well? We are ready. So I'll ask you this. What's the damage in that? You always weigh things out. What's the positives of it? What's the positive? What's the damage in it? I think a lot of the people that like the FCS say, well, I don't want to go and play in a bad bowl game in a no-name thing, and we're going to fall off the map. Nobody's going to care. The FBS is a business decision. It's not a football, we're upset that we don't get to play in the playoffs decision. It's a university business decision. So the FBS is so much bigger. If you go that route, it's a way bigger decision economically than, oh, no, we don't get to play in the FCS playoffs. The football gets lost in the bigger decision. And, yes, football FBS is where you're going, but the business side of this is really what people are looking at. North Dakota State says we're ready. Do you want South Dakota State to say, hey, the same thing, we're ready to go FBS as well? Would you want that? My question of the day for Jacks fans as we get started tonight on the text line, 605-720-1067 is our number. It's the Barron's Wilson text line. Question of the day brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. Give away a buffet a day on the Nate Brown Show. Free buffet for answering the question of the day. It's a beauty on this Tuesday. So you want South Dakota State, and I'll throw in USD to be ready to go FBS, meaning make the statement. Hey, we'll go FBS too. I said, what's the damage in it? I honestly wonder, is there any downside of saying, hey, we're interested in going FBS too? I don't think you want it. You got to play that line there, not getting left behind. You got to play the line. You can't get left behind, but I understand you can't be a Sacramento State either. You guys know Sacramento State. We're going no matter what. We're out of here. We're good to go. You can't do the Sacramento State stuff, but you can't just hope and, I hope we get in this mix. I think we're ready. I hope we get asked by the Mountain West. I said, what's the damage in being aggressive? Not Sac State over your skis out kicking your coverage, but you got to be ready. If North Dakota State's saying it, I know South Dakota State could be saying it as well. Will they? I have a feeling they're going to stay measured. That's my guess, as I've talked to Justin over the years. I think they're going to stay measured now, but NDSU saying today their interest in FBS is as strong as it has been in history. Going FBS, it's as strong as it has been ever. Would you want South Dakota State to take the same posture? Say we're very interested in a move to FBS as well. I think teams like SDSU has to go with NDSU. I don't think you want to see them go and SDSU stay. I don't think you want to see that. I don't think you can see that. I think you got to keep rivalries like that. You just have to. That's why USD and the UNDs of the world, they got to come on this train too. 63% of you say, just wait, see how it develops. Don't say anything. 63% of you. See how it develops. Don't say anything. 37% of you say, yes, be like NDSU. Go on the record and say you're interested in FBS. So 37% of you ready to get bold for the Jacks and say, let's get this done. All right, hit me up, 605-720-1067. Let's see. Lister text. There's no way SDSU, USD, UND, and NDSU can all go FBS. Well, you got to think about this. You think some of these great rivalries and all of the things that we share, the universities, and this whole thing's going to break up? It's going to break up? I don't see that breaking up. I see that staying together in a new level, group of five, whatever you want to call that. So, yes, USD and UND, you better be ready as well. And SDSU is ready financially, support-wise, just like NDSU. I think those guys are ready. Their budgets can be more ready. I believe that. So, listener text, sorry, SDSU, NDSU, and USD, you're not FBS. Just stop. I think they are. I actually think they are. Think about some of these teams that have gone. Sam Houston, Missouri State. Think about some of these programs that have gone. There's a lot to cover tonight. A lot to cover. I thought that was an interesting one. NDSU is out there now on the record. We want to go FBS. It's as strong as it ever has been. Our interest in doing that. Will SDSU go down that road? My guess is not publicly yet. That's my guess. Would you want them to? Get out there, be aggressive, say, hey, Mountain West, if you're going to take NDSU, we're ready to go with the Jacks too. We are ready to go. Those two programs, very similar in the FCS. NDSU saying we want to jump up. What do you say for the Jacks? 605-720-1067. A lot to cover. High school basketball proposal you have to hear in South Dakota. That's coming up. Dan Swartos is on the way talking about the board meeting and the appeal process for Douglas and teams like that. Brian Noe first. A lot of changes in the NFL. It's a Brian Noe Tuesdays live from Vegas, Fox Sports Radio. Coming up.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's your last chance to lock in 2025 pricing on our Acclaim replacement windows and ensemble entry doors. Get 20% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Pay nothing till 2027. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. If you've been thinking about replacing those drafty, outdated doors or windows, now is the time. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
King Sports News. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on a Tuesday. Just getting going tonight. Thanks for being here on your drive home on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. The Nate Brown Show is on. Dan Schwartz is coming up. Talking a little high school sports with the executive director of the Activities Association live from Pierre. They had a big board meeting last week. Also, news out of Missouri tonight when it comes to high school sports. Missouri's governor said he wants to appoint a board to oversee high school activities in Missouri. Oh, boy. Here we go. We'll talk to Dan Schwartzos about that and more coming up from Pierre. Brian Noah's in tonight. Fox Sports Radio, host of Countdown to Kickoff. And the big game is coming up. And the next time I go to Las Vegas, I'm going to be Brian Noah a steak, because Sean Payton cost me. He cost me big. Brian, welcome in. How are you?
Man, Nate Brown, I'll tell you what, you are a man of integrity right there. Of all the crazy things that have been going on, I totally forgot about that. And it's like a gift from the gambling gods, a free steak when Stidham is playing. My gosh, you are a charitable man over here, Nate Brown. I love it.
I look forward to it. I love being in Vegas, and we'll look you up, and we'll do that, okay? Let's get to it. I did blame Sean Payton on the terrible call in the second quarter, and I talked about it a ton yesterday. Not going to beat a dead horse totally, but I said it at the time. It wasn't hindsight. It wasn't like, oh, I wish we should have done this. I thought we should have done that. I said it right away. And lighting up, I said, he's going to go for this. It's going to be a big miss. This is going to be a devastator. And it cost him, and I think it cost the Broncos with how that game played out. What do you say about the 4th and 1 and all these coaches like Sean going for it?
Yeah, man. Listen, it's hard to go against you on this one. And it's one of these deals where, I think you have to be first guessing to be second guessing, meaning like you have a problem with the decision to go for it before you have access to the results, right? And I give you credit for having a problem with it. I thought the same thing. And I'll be honest with you, right? Like I said out loud when I was watching the game, because as you know, I was fading the Broncos. So I was on Team Patriots, and I'm like, the best case scenario here is that the Broncos go for it and don't get it. The worst case is that they go for it and get it. But you know what? That might only be halfway right. The worst case might have been for them just to kick the field goal, because even if they went for it and got it, they still had about, 12 yards to go, roughly, to score a touchdown, which I'm not sure that would have happened. So the worst case might have been for them just to settle for the points. Isn't that crazy? I just think this, too, real fast, Nate, is a lot of times, and I'd have to go back. I don't remember off the top of my head what the down and distance was when it was third down. I know it was third down, but I don't know how long, right? But the point is, sometimes the worst thing that can happen for an offense is that, let's say it was 3rd and 10, and they pick up 9 yards, and they set up 4th and 1, and it just gives a play caller like Sean Payton that extra, like, all right, like I think we're moving in the right direction, right? We got some positive momentum. Why don't we go for this thing, Or it's just funny to me, if it's 3rd and 1, you get stoned for no gain, it feels so differently to a lot of play callers. And if you gain 7, 8, 9 yards on third down and set up 4th and 1, but sometimes they get a little bit too giddy, and I agree. You got to go up 10-0 in a game like that. The Patriots' offense was doing absolutely nothing. You've got Stidham in there. He should have known better, and that mistake came back to absolutely burn them.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It really was how the game played out. And I go, they're really going to lose this thing by 3? I mean, the Broncos had a field goal, 46-yarder tipped and missed, a 54-yarder in the second quarter and missed. Broncos had it. They lost it. I think the Broncos lost it. What did you think of the Patriots? I wasn't too impressed. Their defense is sticky. I'm not impressed. The Snow Bowl ended up being rough. Patriots win, but I wasn't impressed. Where are you at?
I would say this, Nate. It's funny. Like something just popped into my head when you were saying that. And the 2025 Patriots, they remind me a lot of the 07 Giants. And the 07 Giants, they were the team that beat, coincidentally enough, the undefeated Patriots that season, right? Where if you go back and you think about the Giants, they won games ugly a lot of times. They won games that were close a lot of times, and they could never just dust their opponent. They had a very, very hard time winning easy. But no matter how it looked, especially at the end of that season, they were in all of these games. They had remember when Tom Coughlin's face was about to crack off in that game against Green Bay as the overtime thriller, and they had all these close games. The Super Bowl against the Patriots, another nail-biter, but they just found ways. And a lot of people don't want to hear that about the Patriots, where they just roll their eyes and they say, it's a cake schedule, and they get all these lucky breaks. Look at the playoffs. No Nico Collins. You look at a banged-up offensive line for the Chargers, and now you had no Bo Nix. They've gotten a ton of lucky breaks. I would never dispute that. They've had a cake schedule. That's just a fact. But I think that the Patriots, what's sneaking by a lot of people is that they just find ways. They find ways to win, and no one wants to give them any credit whatsoever when it comes to that. And they found another way. The tipped field goal, they had just enough offense. A lot of it was compliments of Jarrett Stidham with the backwards pass that was just hideous. But, no one wants to give them any credit. It's just, C.J. Stroud was terrible. He was, but who forced C.J. Stroud's hand? It was the defense. The defense putting pressure on him, making uncomfortable. So I just think that the Patriots, they do a little bit more than they're given credit for. Not leaps and bounds more than they're given credit for, but they're given credit for nothing, and that is just flat out wrong. You can't just luck your way into the Super Bowl. It just doesn't happen. So for the Patriots to get this far, it says something more about them than anybody else is saying about them.
Brian Noe joining us tonight from Vegas, Countdown to Kickoff host on Fox Sports Radio. Patriots Seahawks coming up. So what should Vikings fans here in South Dakota think of Sam Darnold? He goes again, and he goes 14-3. Now he wins a couple of the playoffs. He plays unbelievable on Sunday night, and he's in the Super Bowl. What should Vikings fans think of Sam Darnold? They had him, and now he's in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's kind of like when your ex, levels up, and you're like, oh. That's what Sam Darnold did. The Vikings dumped Sam Darnold, and then he leveled up, and now he's in the Super Bowl with the Seahawks. And if your ex levels up, that's one thing, as long as you do, right? It doesn't hurt as much if you do also. And the Vikings, as of now, certainly have not. They have not leveled up whatsoever at their quarterback position. So I think it makes it a lot worse. I just don't think Sam Darnold is going to be this upper echelon, true franchise quarterback. Maybe time will tell, and that'll prove to be wrong. But I don't think of him like that. I'm not taking credit away from him. He played great against the Rams, and that was with questions about his oblique. He diced them up, and you got to give him credit for that. But I just think that it hurts worse for the Vikings because they don't have their quarterback spot figured out right now. They don't know if J.J. McCarthy's going to be that guy. They don't know what's what right now. So to break up with Sam Darnold and to level down, that makes it way, way worse for them.
I got to ask you, you're not fading the Seahawks. I mean, we got a couple of weeks here, but you're not fading the Seahawks, please.
I am, because of exactly what you just said. This idea, the Seahawks, this hot knife through butter, you're going to get 2 weeks of that for the Patriots. And it's going to be the best thing possible for the Patriots, man. This idea that the Patriots can't win this game, of course they can. That's all they're going to get is everybody's going to rush to the betting window to bet the Seahawks. They just looked great against the Niners, banged up team. They just found a way to beat the Rams, and now the Patriots, in the eyes of most people, have just lucked their way into win after win after win after win. Somehow lucked their way into 16 out of 17 wins. It's just crazy to me, but Oh, give me the Patriots all day, Nate
My
Brown. Are
goodness.
you kidding me?
All
That's
right.
the best time to back a team is when no one else wants to. Yes, give me the Patriots all day long.
I might have to double or nothing on that steak at Capitol Grill. I might have to invite a friend of yours or something, a double or nothing. Come on. Brian Noe's on tonight from Fox Sports Radio. A couple of coaching things I want your take on. Joe Brady gets hired by the Bills, offensive coordinator that's had Josh Allen. They've had a great offense, James Cook. I mean, I think Brady's done a good job there. How do we explain getting rid of McDermott, staying in-house and going Brady? What's the deal? I mean, I'm baffled by that.
Well, we talked about McDermott. I have no problem with them kicking him to the curb, right? Like, just he's there for 9 years. You're there for almost a decade, and you have 0 Super Bowl appearances. Obviously, no Super Bowl wins with arguably the best quarterback in football. It's not good enough.
But
It's
that's
not
Brady.
good
Brady's
enough.
his coach.
Bye-bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, Sean McD. You know, and now you move on. I was surprised they didn't go with Dable, if I'm being honest with you, Nate. Like, you know, when Dable was there, Josh Allen really kicked it into overdrive. He's got head coaching experience. I was surprised they didn't go with him. But they're more aggressive. They went with the younger guy. Obviously doesn't have head coaching experience with Joe Brady. And maybe it'll turn out to be the right decision. But honestly, that was my takeaway. I thought they were going to go with Dable. He's a Buffalo native. He made it clear he wanted that job. He's had success with Josh Allen, and he's been a head coach. So I thought they would go with him, but they went with Brady instead, which was not a shocking move, but a little bit of a surprise for me.
How about Mike McCarthy? He's back, man. Pittsburgh native. He's going to be the head coach of the Steelers. People are hating on it. He had 12-win seasons in Dallas. We know he's a Super Bowl with the Packers, and people say, well, he maybe underachieved with Aaron Rodgers. Mike McCarthy at Pittsburgh does what?
He does the same thing Mike Tomlin has done for almost the last decade. He goes 10-7 and does nothing in the playoffs. I don't see how this changes anything. He's a guy that, you know, if you go from Mike Tomlin to Mike McCarthy, like McCarthy's 40 is a little slower, but he could run block in a pinch if you need him to. Like if you need your coach to double as a player, I guess that's what's happened here. Maybe it gives you a better chance to keep Aaron Rodgers. I don't know that it even does that. It does nothing for them. Like that's the Steelers. They always go young, and it's benefited them over the years. Like best case scenario, Mike McCarthy's there for what, 5, maybe 10 years. The problem with the Steelers is this, Nate. They're not restarting. You have to. That doesn't mean that you bottom out. That doesn't mean that you tank. It doesn't mean anything. You can restart while you're trying to compete. But until you find your quarterback and your coach of the now and the future, they are going nowhere. So this move does nothing for them. It keeps them at 9-8 or 10-7 and doing nothing in the playoffs. Until they find their quarterback of the future, that's what they're going to do. That's exactly what Mike Tomlin has done. You give Mike Tomlin like a legit franchise quarterback, he's fine. I have no questions about Mike Tomlin's ability to coach. The problem is they've gone Band-Aid after Band-Aid after Band-Aid after Band-Aid at the quarterback position, and the results reflect that. And now they're just going with a Band-Aid at head coach. This is not your head coach for the next 2 decades like Mike Tomlin was. So I just don't get it at all. It makes no sense to me. They're just going the Band-Aid route. You can't go Band-Aid with coach and quarterback and expect to get anywhere. So I don't agree with it whatsoever. I just think it's dumb.
I want to see if Brian Noe is going to keep this attitude next week on the Patriots, because it's really going to be the countdown then. We'll see where the line goes. I thought it was Seahawks minus 4.5, the last one I saw. We're going to see where you're at next week. Let's check in again, Super Bowl week. Brian Noe is on tonight. He's fading the Seahawks as of now, and I owe him a steak as my Broncos busted it up, courtesy of Sparky Sean Payton. Fox Sports Radio. Brian, good to have you, man. I appreciate you.
Always great to be with you here, Nate Brown. And you know me, I stick to my guns, even if my guns are way wrong. But I'll tell you this. Anybody who's thinking about going the other way, you might want to wait a little bit because there's not going to be Patriot money coming in. It's going to be all Seahawks money. But mark my words, the Seahawks plus the points, it is a gift from the gambling gods, Nate Brown. It is a gift, my friend. But I hope you have a great evening. I always love being on with you, buddy.
Appreciate you. Brian Noe is on tonight. Countdown to kickoff all season long. National host on Fox Sports Radio and here on the Nate Brown Show. And I owe him a steak at Capital Grill. Have you been to Capital Grill, anybody? It's a great place. Las Vegas. They have them around the country. I mean, I should have gotten a little bit of something there with Stidham and the snowstorm, and if I knew Sparky was going to mess that up like that. But I'm a man of my word. A steak with Brian Noe whenever I make it to Las Vegas. What a good time that'll be. I better break out the money. Listener text coming in. Hey, Nate, go double or nothing. You're taking the Seahawks. He's taking the Patriots. Yeah, I mean, I like that recommendation, but I can't afford 2 steaks at Capital Grill, let me tell you. I mean, it's a little dicey. So the Bills hire Joe Brady, which is, I guess it's fine. I just don't understand how this all changes the Bills either. Hey, our coaches weren't doing a good enough job. John McDermott, you did a bad job. You're out. You hired Joe Brady as offensive coordinator. He did a great job. He's in. Huh? The same coaching staff. Same type of deal there. So that's interesting. The Bills go Joe Brady. And this guy hasn't been a head coach, right? He got famous there at LSU. When Joe Burrow was there, he was the offensive guy. So he had it turned up there. And then, kind of this offensive guru. And he's been good with the Bills, no doubt. But Joe Brady's going to go to the head coaching spot. And the Bills, I thought they were going to go outside a little bit. But they don't. I guess it was either Phillip Rivers or Joe Brady. Whoops. They went with Joe. Hey, we're going to go high school sports. A lot to discuss tonight. And an important interview coming up next from Pierre with Executive Director of the Activities Association, Dan Swartos. A lot to hit on tonight coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Does your home have a crawl space? When cold weather arrives, that can mean cold floors, frozen pipes, and higher energy bills. Protect your family and keep the cold air out this winter with expert crawl space sealing by Blackburn Basement Systems. Sealing keeps your crawl space clean, protects pipes, and insulates your home so floors are warmer and energy bills are lower. A sealed crawl space means a nicer home. Don't wait. Call Blackburn Basement Systems today.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Headed to the Black Hills Stock Show? Then make Trav's Outfitter your first stop. Score $100 off Higher and Tecovas boots. Huey ball caps just $10 and save $20 on Cinch and Ariat jeans. Western wear, workwear, and unbeatable Stock Show savings. All at Trav's Outfitter, your Stock Show headquarters. Trav's Outfitter, find us at 413 North Campbell Street in the old Kmart building. Trav's Outfitter, best selection, best service, no BS.
New year? How about a new vehicle? Kick off 2026 in a new GMC or Cadillac from Spearfish Motors. New Sierra 1500s with savings up to $6,250. Need some towing power? Sierra HD models are discounted up to $3,000. And if comfort and versatility are on your list, we've got a great selection of Terrain, Acadia, and Yukon ready to go. Start the year with something new. Shop online at spearfishmotors.com or stop by Spearfish Motors today. GMC, we are professional grade.
Hey, volleyball families, get ready to serve up some fun at the Wautiki Spike-tacular Volleyball Tournament, February 13th through 15th at the Box Elder Event Center. Experience high-energy matches, glow-in-the-dark games Friday night, and exciting play all weekend long. Compete in 14U, 16U, or 18U divisions for a shot at the trophy. Stay and play with 25% off rooms at Courtyard by Marriott and water park passes included. Register now at thebox.live.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
As we kick off the new year and you think about new opportunities in 2026, Lee Cruz with New York Life Insurance Company in Rapid City is ready to help you and your family protect your financial future. Nobody knows what life will bring, and that's why it's so important to have life insurance in place. And Lee Cruz is a local guy that will help set up the right policy that fits your needs and budget. Just take 10 minutes, protect your family with life insurance. Google Lee Cruz New York Life. That's Lee Cruz at 605-360-8804.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
We're back in. Glad you're here tonight. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, KWSN Sioux Falls. Welcome in. Fox Sports Rapid City. Jerry Brewer's coming up, national sports columnist for The Athletic, covering all the coaching changes and a big deal with Bill Belichick today. If you just saw that this afternoon, we'll get to that. Jerry Brewer, longtime sports writer, now with The Athletic. He covered the game Sunday night in Seattle. Sam Darnold with the win. Big column up there at The Athletic from Jerry. He's coming up. Jake Sorensen's on from Nebraska. Husker basketball coming up in 15 minutes. Huskers playing Michigan in a showdown. You've never seen this. Top 5 matchup. Jake Sorensen, 93.7 The Ticket, live from Lincoln on the way. A lot of high school sports to discuss. And I appreciate the time of Dan Swartos. I said that starting the show. I appreciate him when he comes on and informs the audience and South Dakota sports fans, everybody that has kids playing or has played. He's the executive director of South Dakota High School Activities Association. Dan, welcome in. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate your time, as always. I want to go to the board meeting right away and then ask you a couple of things here. Board meeting last week. You guys discuss a lot. One thing that jumped out to me was the appeals for some schools that, they ask, hey, here's our situation. We have this student or that student. They don't play sports, and so, they move down. There's various things that go on there. One thing that jumps out to me is Douglas. Douglas brought the proposal to the board to appeal to play 11A, to play 11A football. They haven't won any games. Their numbers aren't high roster-wise. School-wise, they're the smallest male ADM in AA. They got denied by the board to drop down. Why do you think that was? What was the biggest reason as you had that discussion?
Well, so there was a number of appeals. Most of them involved, we don't think our number is correct. We've got this one student who shouldn't have been counted. Flandria Indian School had 10 students who were counted as, a freshman, sophomore, or junior, but they're actually in their 4th or 5th year of high school, have no eligibility left. So it's adjust our number based on these students. This is what our accurate count would be, and then they play it at what their number would be with that. And then you've got Hamlin, who has for 16 years now has come to us with a religious exemption for 60% of their students belong to the apostolic faith and aren't allowed to play sports. So their number of students is way less than what it would show on there. And then we had a group, with Mount Vernon, Plankinton, Douglas, Sioux Falls, Lincoln, or Sioux Falls Lutheran, where it wasn't necessarily, where it was more along the lines of, there were different ones. But Douglas's in particular was essentially the letter that they had sent to the board and submitted to the board. Had asked to retain playoff eligibility, play down the classification, and essentially, we're aware of the transient nature of the population with the Air Force Base and what have you. And I'm a combat veteran myself. I certainly sympathize with that, and I understand the issues that come along with military bases. None of that was in their letter. So there wasn't any data on this many kids, this many kids of ours are transient. This much of our student body turns over every year as people are assigned and reassigned. It was just sort of all based on the recent success and lack of success. And, I think the board gets into that, and they say, well, that's, that gets into a slippery slope. And so I think a lot of that is what went into it. Number one, the request had involved playoff eligibility for moving down. Whereas, the one we had with Sisseton, they had to pull out, they had to cancel their season last year, do a JV schedule, and they had requested, we're going to forego the playoffs. We're asking you to give us a 9-man schedule for 2 years to build our program back up to come back into it. So I think that was the biggest difference, and there was some precedent in that, Britton Heckler had done that for a number of years. I think Dallas Goddard was playing. Britton Heckler had petitioned down to 9-man and they were foregoing the playoffs, and then their numbers actually brought them down to 9-man. And there's language, it's where it gets really weird, is that there's language in our bylaws that essentially says, if you're appealing, I can't remember this, but essentially there's a pathway to forego the playoffs and appeal to play 9-man football if you have 11-man schedule. Essentially says we set the 9-man, 11-man cutoff. If you're an 11-man team and you want to play in the 9-man playoff or a 9-man schedule, then you're not eligible for the playoffs in 11-man. So there's language all over the place, and there had been precedent on foregoing the playoffs and moving down to 9-man. There hadn't been precedent on saying we want to move from this classification to this classification because of lack of success and remain playoff eligible. As we got into it, they started saying, well, we'd be open to discussions about playoffs and what have you, but that's not the time to have those discussions.
Okay. I was going to ask that if they said, well, if we could work on this, maybe we don't have to do the playoffs. Is that a different discussion? It still sounds like it would have been a tough road to drop classes, and it's almost easier to drop to 9-man.
Well, there's language pertaining to a drop to 9-man because that's all we've ever really had before. It's been 11B. It's been one 11B team in the past who's foregone the playoffs and then played a 9-man schedule. And essentially, that's what the All-Nations Conference is.
Sure.
We've got these schools who have said, we're trying to build up our programs. We're going to pull ourselves out of your playoffs, and we're going to play 9-man football. I think that was part of it. The other part is that it's that the concept of petitioning between classes of 11-man football based on success alone and remaining eligible in the playoffs, it's something we need to look at a lot deeper because it could, especially as you get up into larger classes. Okay, Douglas does it this year. Next year, 2 teams from AAA do it. Now we're sitting there with 7 teams in AAA. What do you do for schedules? Then, and is that really a viable class if you got 7 teams in it? And are you if they get moved down, are you shoving other people up to take their places? And that's where you get some real heartburn.
I understand it, and I do want to ask you, Dan Swartos on tonight, South Dakota High School Activities Executive Director. I want to ask you about, does this open it up to get this success factor committee work going? It is going, but it sounds like it's going to be a process. Is there an appetite? It's like we got to have a different system that has data for enrollment and success factor for the Douglases of the world.
Well, it's hard to tell. What I've heard anecdotally is some skepticism from schools, but the push for this, for the success factor conversation, wasn't necessarily on the moving down part of it. It was, we're upset about these, a couple of schools who are winning a lot, and we want a system that will move them up. That was it wasn't exactly that. And then we brought it into it to say, well, this is also, this is also something that we should look at. So I think it does. I mean, that smaller group really has done a lot of work. We got a model put together for the success factor moving people up piece of it. We've got a model put together for looking at allowing people to petition down the piece of it, and we're just working on getting that all down into something that's digestible and onto a piece of paper to bring to that larger group, and then hopefully to have something to discuss with our ADs at their meeting this spring. And, right now, essentially, if we're going to vote on something, it needs to go out to the membership by next April so that it's in place if it were to pass. If we want something that's going to be in place for the next 2-year cycle, it needs to go out this next April. So we're hoping to have something way before that, but I'd rather have something good and correct than to rush something forward and there's 1,000 questions on it, and it either passes or fails based on questions rather than on the merits of it. So that's where we're at right now. I'll be honest, the football portion of this is what gives me the most anxiety with looking at it, just because it's the only system we have where we're listing out numbers of teams rather than number cutoffs, where we have this many teams are in AAA, this many teams are in AA, this many teams are in A, to where if you're moving teams up and down, that means someone, if you move someone down, that means someone below them needs to move up.
Sure.
And that's where it gets really hard. And that's where it gets stuck a lot of the times is, gosh, we feel bad for this team. We'd love to, but now I'm going to have to move up so that this school that's bigger than me can come down and play in the class I was in. But because I'm the next smallest, now I get moved up in there. And that's where the conversation gets hard, unless we're going to change the structure of how we do our football classifications, which is a whole nother, which is a whole nother topic in itself.
Yeah. No, I get it. I think Douglas probably looks at it and says, hey, we're twice as small. We're half the size of Aberdeen Central, and we got to play them. So it doesn't seem quite right. They're half the size.
Right. But the next couple schools down from Douglas are 100-plus kids smaller than them. And if then they're moving up into that, or they're having to play some of those schools, okay, that's I get what you're saying, but now they're 2.5, 3 times bigger than me, and so that's where we got to look at the whole perspective of it, and that's where it gets tricky. And we're looking at some stuff with the schedules. We're hoping to help Douglas out with some things with their schedule, and to maybe do some things on the back end of this to help them out a little bit. I can't, we're still in the very initial stages of it, but
I think that would be good
for Douglas with their schedule, and to see if we can't find them some games, maybe some different games than they've had in the recent past, and maybe give them some give them a little light at the end of the tunnel there, and give them something to look forward to. So we're going to do everything we can to help them out, and we'll see how that shakes out.
Speaking of the scheduling, I'll let you run on this, Dan. Sioux Falls Metro, Harrisburg, and Brandon Valley, they're going to be playing Omaha. That was big news there, and that you put out there. How did that come together? Omaha is going to play some Metro teams.
Well, we're still finalizing everything, and it's probably something where I'm talking to the board and it comes out of your mouth before you think about it. But we're hoping sometime here, Nebraska's schedules come out here in a few weeks. So we've been working on trying to find some crossover games like that for those Sioux Falls Metro schools, looking into Fargo or Omaha or Sioux City, Des Moines area. And so we're still finalizing a lot of that stuff. I don't want to say any more. I don't want to get in front of things. I think I don't want to say any more. I don't want to say any more than that.
All right.
It'll be finalized when they're finalized, and we're excited about everything that we're looking at in terms of schedules for this upcoming year.
Dan Swartos on tonight. Appreciate his time giving some insight after the board meeting last week. Executive Director for the South Dakota High School Activities Association. Dan, I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you bet. Take care.
Appreciate it. Dan Swartos on the Nate Brown Show across South Dakota tonight on Fox Sports Radio. Executive Director of the Activities Association. A lot there, mainly focused on the football classifications, as that was the big story from last week. Yeah, I could tell that success factor. I like it. I think you need more data. You need stuff added to just enrollment. Because right now what happens is the Activities Association board just decides the classifications based on enrollment. Here's the cutoff for this. Here's the cutoff for that. Here's the cutoff for that. And then you got Aberdeen Central playing Douglas. And it's like, but then Douglas has to go down and play an A, and then those teams are worried about playing that. You're worried about playing Douglas? If you're Sioux Falls Christian, you're worried about playing Douglas? I don't think so. But, so, got to figure out a better model. Got to have a better model, but then everybody's going to whine about success factor. I got to move up, and this team gets to move down, and then we're going to be stuck on enrollment and cutoffs. And that's what I'm trying to, try and have the discussion to change. It's got to be enrollment. It's got to be a success factor. Your winning percentages, and I would even throw some roster size numbers in there. That's what Montana looks at. Because that tells you the health of a football program, not just how many kids you have at the school. So, speaking of activities, a quick one here for you. There's a new proposal in Missouri. Did you see this? The Missouri governor says, I want to do something to have oversight of high school activities in Missouri. From the governor, coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's your last chance to lock in 2025 pricing on our acclaimed replacement windows and ensemble entry doors. Get 20% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Pay nothing till 2027. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. If you've been thinking about replacing those drafty, outdated doors or windows, now is the time. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
All right, busy show tonight. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We are live on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN, Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. The Nate Brown Show. Glad to have you here. Good stuff tonight, from high school to college to the pros. We got you covered. If you missed parts of the show at all, Dan Swartos was just on. Long discussion there about football and classifications and what's happened and what's to come. There's a lot there. Go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. You can hear every guest, every segment. Search The Nate Brown Show. If you miss any guests or what you want to get, you can get it on demand on Apple, Spotify, Amazon. Search The Nate Brown Show. Then you've got the podcast anytime. Speaking of high school activities, what do we think of this one here as we get ready for the second hour tonight? So Missouri has had some issues with high school activities, they think anyway, of like the appeal process with their activities association and rulings that have been made and stuff like this. So what's happened? The Missouri governor put in his State of the State address this month that he wants to have an oversight of their high school activities association. Oh, boy. Here we go. So this is in Missouri, and the governor called for oversight of the activities association. So now their legislative session's going on just like here in South Dakota. They got a House bill in Missouri. They got a Senate bill in Missouri that would create a governor-appointed board to oversee the Missouri High School Activities Association. One of the politicians there in Missouri said, the organizations overseeing these programs must operate with transparency and accountability. Unelected bureaucrats cannot act like kings. That's in Missouri. And they say public schools funded by taxpayers are required to pay fees to the Activities Association. When something goes wrong, there's often no meaningful, transparent appeals process. That's another politician there from Missouri. So they got a House bill and a Senate bill that would create a governor-appointed board for oversight of high school activities in Missouri. And when I say that, what say you? Let's go to the question of the day. Let's throw that out in the question of the day. Missouri governor has proposed creating an oversight board to oversee the Missouri High School Activities Association. What do you think of this proposal for state oversight of high school sports? So, meaning like, you know, if you have an appeal or something, it goes to the board of the Missouri Activities Association like we do here in this state. But then I guess their final decision maybe isn't the final. Then this governor-appointed board would say, well, actually, we're gonna say this. Dicey. That sounds dicey. So I always believe, like, let's let the experts, like people that are involved, you know, administrators, high school people that know what's going on, they should be in charge. That's my first thought. What's your thought? High school activities having an oversight board. They say an independent oversight board. So you can imagine, like, the governor of South Dakota appointing the board to oversee high school activities. And the governor stands up there in the State of the State address and says, I've appointed Nate Brown to be a chairman of the oversight, and you'd all go, what? This is going to be unbelievable. You're dang right. Now I'm in charge. Now I'm driving the bus. Anyway, that is real, though, in Missouri. That is real. What do you think of that? Oversight board to oversee the Missouri High School Activities Association. What do you think of the proposal? State government overseeing high school sports. Good to have another oversight? Good to have oversight over it? Another appeal process, I guess? Or just leave the Activities Association in charge? What would be your answer? Can you send those in? 605-720-1067. 605-720-1067 on the text line. What would be your answer to a governor-appointed board to oversee high school activities like they're trying to get done in Missouri right now? And bring it back to South Dakota right here, okay? The basketball advisory meeting's coming up next week. This is basketball now. This is in South Dakota. Don't get confused. Went from Missouri back to South Dakota. There is a basketball proposal that is targeting Rapid City and Sioux Falls. This is interesting. Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
Mom, can we please go to Waitiki Indoor Water Park Resort?
Waitiki? What's so special about it?
Are you kidding? It's got slides, fountains, a lazy river, everything. And it's just a short drive to Rapid City. If we stay at one of the hotels, we get water park passes for free.
Wow, you really did your homework. Okay, what do you say we pack our swimsuits and hit Waitiki this weekend?
Yes, best mom ever.
Unlock your adventure at WaitikiWaterPark.com.
Shop the area's best selection of pre-owned Hondas and Honda certified pre-owned at Danny Mano Rushmore Honda. Get financing as low as 1.49% APR for 60 months on certified pre-owned Accords, CRVs, HRVs, and Pilots. Plus, shop a lot full of used imports and domestics. Virtually any make or model, including a great selection of all-wheel drives and 4x4s. See us at Danny Mano Rushmore Honda or RushmoreHonda.com. $17.31 per 1,000 finance, regardless of down payment, with qualified credit.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
This January, it's Mount Moolah Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort. All month long, you can secure your claim of over $45,000 in cash and prizes. Join us every Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. till midnight for drawings and payout cash prizes starting at $300 and piling up to $1,000 at midnight. Be at Cadillac Jack's for the Mount Moolah Grand Prize Drawing, where we'll give away $9,000 in cash and prizes. It's Mount Moolah, only at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort in Deadwood. How will your night play out?
Winter's arrived. I'm with Brian from Anytime Auto Sales Service and Detail, and I know you have some great specials right now.
Yes, we do. Get an Arctic Start remote system, which we feel are the best in the business, from just $369. From the Ultra Simple with a range of 1,500 feet to LCD remotes that have a range of 1 mile, to our drone mobile unit, where your smartphone will start your car from anywhere on the planet.
Technology. It's just amazing, isn't it?
That it is. And right now, save up to $40 on a set of Toyo Celsius 2 tires, what we think are simply the best best tire for our area. A 60,000-mile rated year-round winter tire. It's an absolutely amazing tire for South Dakota.
So winter performance, and you leave them on all year long?
You got it. These tires will perform way better in winter weather than a typical all-season radial. Stop in or call, and we'll go over all the Toyo Tire and remote start options available, and we'll do it with the best prices in the area.
See anytime.com, and of course at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales. One more time.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, we're ready for the second hour. The Nate Brown Show is on. It's South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Our official outfitter of South Dakota Sports Talk Show is a South Dakota company, independent, proud of it. Travs Outfitter. Find them at travsoutfitter.com. They have the best selection of work boots, Western boots. The store is great, brand new in Rapid City on Campbell Street. Stop by, take a look at the new Travs Outfitter. Those guys get it done. I'm telling you, it's not about a quick sale. It's about getting it right. They want you coming back, not returning stuff. So no pressure, commission style stuff. That's not it. They'd rather earn your trust than force a sale. Check out Travs Outfitter, your stock show headquarters in Rapid City, right there on Campbell Street. The best in work boots and Western boots. Family owned, South Dakota, independent. Their slogan, best selection, best service, no BS. That's the way. Travs Outfitter on Campbell Street in Rapid City. Find them online. Take a look. TravsOutfitter.com. The Nate Brown Show is on with Jerry Brewer coming up, national sports columnist for The Athletic. He covered the Sam Darnold win Sunday night in Seattle. He's on live tonight. Jerry Brewer straight ahead talking NFL. Jake Sorensen's talking Husker basketball. The big matchup underway tonight. Nebraska at Michigan, top 5 matchup. Unbelievable. We haven't seen that. Nebraska basketball. Jake Sorensen's with 93.7 the ticket out of Lincoln. He is in tonight. We gotta talk basketball here. We have to talk some high school basketball in South Dakota tonight. So listen up on this. This is going to touch some nerves. This is going to touch some nerves. So there's a basketball advisory meeting next week. So the Activities Association has advisory committees. Football, basketball, all the activities, okay? It's made up of, some coaches, administrators, and stuff, and these folks know basketball. And then you can submit proposals. So just telling you how the process works. Hey, we want to think about changing this rule. What about doing this? Like, when the shot clock came in South Dakota high school basketball back in the day. That's how this stuff starts. So I see this new proposal that's going to be talked about next week, and I think this is wild. This is wild. It's talking about private schools in South Dakota getting changed in classification. Okay, this is what I know a lot of you are like, hey, yeah, this is what we want right here. Hang on a second. Hang on. This proposal is coming to the basketball advisory meeting next week here in South Dakota, saying that any private school that's in a school district of AA teams with 80, that's average daily membership of 1,000 or more students, any private school that's in a, so this is how this reads to me. Any private school in the Sioux Falls Metro, in the Rapid City Metro, because I looked at the enrollments. This only is covering Sioux Falls and Rapid City. Aberdeen Central falls underneath because they don't have quite as many students, so it wouldn't affect like Aberdeen Roncalli, some of these programs. Okay, Mitchell, same story. Mitchell Christian, stuff like that. Wouldn't affect these. These are private schools in the metros. Rapid City and Sioux Falls, where you're listening tonight. They would automatically be AA teams. Oh, boy. So are you listening? Rapid City Christian, you're AA. St. Thomas More, 128 ADM. 128 St. Thomas More, you're AA. What? Sioux Falls Christian, everyone's going to, hey, Sioux Falls Christian, yeah, you're AA. I mean, we can just run through the thing, right? And that's not just the end of it. They say all private schools will be classified at least Class A now. Sioux Falls Lutheran, Class A. Some of the small schools here, if you're not like 30, under 30, you're Class A automatic now. Oh, boy. So you're hearing me on this. This is just a proposal. It's going to the basketball advisory meeting next week, but it's targeting initially Rapid City and Sioux Falls, any private schools in those markets. You're going to go double A. That's how it reads to me. That's how it reads to me. The rationale, they say, here's the rationale in the proposal. Private schools in the large districts have a weighted advantage in the recruitment of players over public schools in less populated school districts. So they are saying, hey, St. Thomas More, you're in Rapid City. You got a big market. You can get some big-time players. Sioux Falls Christian, you're in a big market. You can get some big-time players. I understand it, guys. I've been covering sports a long time in South Dakota in high school basketball. So I get it. I've seen these programs. I understand. But then that leaves out like, what about Del Rapids? What about West Central? Hey, West Central, they're right there in Hartford. Come on. Well, no, that's not Sioux Falls. So West Central, you're still Class A. You're good. You're not private, so you're good, but you don't get any players from anywhere. I mean, no, so you guys stay Class A, but Rapid City Christian, you're going double A. Wait, we're a really small school. I don't care. You're going double A. This doesn't work. So let's see how this goes next week. You're talking about some programs, some schools that are really small in some of these in Sioux Falls and Rapid City, some small schools. They're either going to, the proposal says you got to go double A, or you're going to be at least Class A if you're like a B school, if you're really small. You're going to be classified at least Class A if you have enrollment 30 or less, then you can stay B. I mean, that's 30 or less. That's like a really small school. So this is the plan. It's the proposal. It's coming up next week, and I'll have more to say on it. I think we're going down a wrong road there. People to say, well, you got to move Sioux Falls Christian up. You got to move them up. You can't be playing this game. I understand the advantages. You can't be playing this game. Here's what nobody wants to say. Open enrollment. There's public schools. There's some of the big schools in Sioux Falls and in Rapid City. They also get good players. Hate to break it to everybody. They also get good players that open enroll. You might want to check it out. Coming right back with Jerry Brewer from The Athletic. He covered the Sam Darnold win. We'll talk to Jerry coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's your last chance to lock in 2025 pricing on our Acclaim replacement windows and ensemble entry doors. Get 20% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Pay nothing till 2027. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. If you've been thinking about replacing those drafty, outdated doors or windows, now is the time. Call today or visit RVARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Are there as many kinds of vehicles as there are kinds of people? We think so. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every ride.
Is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, across the state, it's always a great day in South Dakota. Welcome in. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. The Nate Brown Show, powered by Black Hills Federal Credit Union, my family's banking partner. We made the switch from our last bank. It's been the right choice for us over the years, big time. Great rates on loans, personal, business, vehicle loans, all that stuff. Mobile banking, I have the app on my phone. Keep track of my teenage daughter's account. It's all right there. BHFCU.com is the way to get started. Become a member. Experience all the advantages of Black Hills Federal Credit Union with 18 locations across South Dakota from the Black Hills to Sioux Falls. BHFCU.com. Start there. Get started, man. It's going to be great for you. I really enjoy it. Jerry Brewer's on tonight. National sports columnist, The Athletic. He's on X at Jerry Brewer, longtime sports writer. Has a piece out there on Sam Darnold and the win on Sunday. Jerry, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate your time. So I want to jump into this right away on the football side. So the big story is Bill Belichick is not going to get into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. You know a lot of sports writers. You've been in this game a long time. People are saying it's because of the Spygate, the Deflategate, the controversy. Bill Belichick not going in on the first ballot for the Hall of Fame. What's the story?
That is a travesty. I don't know if you can definitively say he's the greatest coach of all time, but he certainly has the most hardware. And love him or hate him, there's nothing on his resume. I mean, I know people will talk about Spygate and, you know, all the other things that he would do to stretch the rules to their limit, if not break them. But there is no poison pill on his resume that should bar anyone from saying, yeah, I'm voting for that guy. I think ultimately this isn't about like a grievance that the media, the Hall of Fame voters in the media have against him. I think this is just a very, very flawed system that they have, and how coaches are bundled in there with like owners and other contributors, and that category, if you're not a player and you're trying to get in, is so convoluted and so stupid. It kind of reminds me, Nate, of if you've ever scored something on a rubric. I've done like scholarship judging and competition judging and all these other things, and they give you this rubric. And I always say, hey, man, we need to have like a committee after we score on this rubric to make sure that we got it right. Because a lot of times the rubric and the way you've devised it is so flawed that it messes up the obvious. And I'm not a fan, Nate, of like quotas on like who you can vote for and all of these things. I think there are some years where there's 10 Hall of Famers who are eligible and they all should get in. And there's some year where there might be one, and you're really struggling to like, get a guy in on a veterans committee or whatever. But the whole system, like I think there's too many rules that you're trying to follow. And as you go through your little checklist, all of a sudden, arguably the greatest coach in NFL history doesn't get in. It's a travesty. And Nate, this is from somebody who doesn't care very much for Bill Belichick, but I do respect his mind as a coach.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had a lot of success outside of New England, but the success that he had, which extended for almost a quarter of a century, is more than enough to get him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
on the first ballot.
Yeah, 40 out of 50 votes is what's needed, and he fell short. And it's like, I know he's going to get in, so I know it's just a drama of today, but he's going to get in, but he didn't get in on the first ballot. And I'm sitting here looking at, like, Mike Shanahan. I know he's not a Bill Belichick, but Shanahan's not in. I mean, he's going to get in, right? I mean, why isn't he in?
Right. When you start thinking about the Mike Shanahans, and I also think Mike Holmgren, even though he has one less Super Bowl, is absolutely a Hall of Famer with all the contributions that he had to the game, to his coaching tree, to just the style of football that was played that was dominant for 30 years. He and Shanahan essentially both inherited that from Bill Belichick and went two different ways. Shanahan devising a run-centric West Coast offense, and Holmgren, really accentuating the short pass in the West Coast offense. So it's funny because now we start weighing, right? Like Mike Shanahan can't get in, but Tony Dungy got in with relative ease. And why was that? Well, the rules have changed since then. And it's going to get even more complicated. I was really Mike Sando, who's a good friend from a long time. He lives in Seattle. He's at The Athletic now, was formerly at ESPN. And he was really breaking down when Mike Tomlin resigned. He was breaking down how it's still going to be hard for Mike Tomlin to get in. And I'm like, man, are you freaking kidding me? But then when he breaks it down, it's like, you have like just created a rule system that gets in the way of common sense.
Jerry Brewer on tonight, national columnist for The Athletic. He's on X at Jerry Brewer. He's here on the Nate Brown Show tonight. So that's a headline there. Belichick not in on the Hall of Fame today. So let me go to this scenario of Championship Sunday. So my Denver Broncos, I know you covered the Seattle game. I want your take on Sean Payton. I believe made a huge mistake. I said it at the time, not after the fact, not taking the 3, backup QB, all of the scenario, going up 10-0. So my big question is, are coaches doing that too much? The gut check is not there now. It's like, well, analytics would say you get this because I got 4 tries, I'm going to get this. So the analytics are, you're going to get this. Well, Will Lutz was 39 out of 39 on extra points, and this kick would have been shorter than that. So those are analytics too. So what are we doing here?
We're not using common sense. It seems like that's the theme of our conversation today. I do think that, in general, you would go for that and just live with the consequences. But there are 2 things to consider. The fact that Jarrett Stidham, who hadn't played in forever, was your quarterback, pressed into duty because of injury. And you have to acknowledge the fact, and every coach has this information, so he wasn't like aloof to this, how bad the weather was going to get during the game. You can't turn down points in bad weather games like that. And it may have cost them. I still think the Patriots were going to win that game, but it certainly would have helped Denver's situation that much more. And it's just another one of those, Nate, heartbreaking championship game, playoff moment things that has happened to Sean Payton ever since he won the Super Bowl. And I call it the Bounty Gate curse. And all of a sudden you have these weird decisions by an offensive mastermind in a game that got like terribly windy and snowy, and they lose that game, and it's on him. Or you have, when he's in New Orleans, the Los Angeles Rams cornerback just pummeling your wide receiver, and no one throws a flag, right? There was it wasn't in the NFC Championship game, but there was a heartbreaking loss that a really good Saints team had against the Minnesota Vikings, if you'll recall. I think that was the year before that NFC title game loss. He's had 3 or 4 times, maybe 5 times since he won that Super Bowl and since Bountygate, when he's had a team that looked really capable of winning the whole thing and certainly capable of going to the Super Bowl, and he still hasn't made it back.
Wow.
I kind of feel sad for the guy a little bit. I know people it rubs them the wrong way with how arrogant he is, but every coach who's ever scored 30 points in an NFL game is arrogant. Right. I mean, that's just how offensive coaches are. I happen to like Sean Payton, but it just seems like the best I can call it is the Bountygate curse. It just seems like he did something to the football gods, and they are torturing him.
How you were there covering the game? Seattle beats the Rams. That was great. It was a great game. Sam Darnold played really well. Vikings fans here in South Dakota are like, well, we're happy for him. I don't think we could have kept him. They're telling themselves that. He goes on and puts another season together. Sam Darnold's been ridiculed, been almost, he didn't even have a shot, and now he's going to the Super Bowl. How do you describe Sam Darnold's career here?
It's crazy. Like in modern NFL, I kind of wrote about this. Like there have been plenty of really good second chance quarterbacks. I mean, I think about Jim Plunkett going from bust to a multiple Super Bowl winner. There's been plenty of stories of guys who the first time around didn't make it work, but this one is like pretty extraordinary because it's his 15, and what a weird year he had last year. You experienced it firsthand, just 14-3, but come money time, losing that last game, and he fell apart under the pressure against the Lions. And then I was there in Arizona for that game that had to be moved because of the wildfire, and just him getting sacked 9 times, and just being like scared out of his cleats, as any quarterback would, facing that amount of defensive pressure. And then the Vikings just saying, hey, you know what? I mean, we drafted this other dude really high. Like, we should probably give him a chance and not pay Darnold. For him, after all of that, to come back and to find what may even be a better situation for him in Seattle with the Seahawks, and to be this guy that people say can't win the big game, like eventually he's going to turn back into Sam Darnold. I think this is who he is, Nate. And he'll never challenge for, like, the upper echelon. Like, Joe Burrow, you are okay. Josh Allen, you have nothing to fear. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, like, he's never going to get into that category. He's probably never even going to be Justin Herbert. But like that next little tier below that, he's there. And I think we just we turn our nose up too much as media and sports fans at the quarterback who's just good, who you can build something good around, but who's not going to win you a bunch of games. We turn our nose up at that guy. And then more than that, we just forget, like, people can mature and people can evolve in this game. And we shouldn't be so quick to label people. And so what a tremendous story. It was huge for him that he went and he was a backup, and he had one of the hardest, best quarterback gurus in Kyle Shanahan, and then he went to Kevin O'Connell, who's got a little bit of a softer touch, but I think is going to stand the test of time as a great quarterback guru himself. Having that back-to-back set him up really well for him to come to Seattle and run Clint Kubiak's offense. And it's Seattle doesn't go to the Super Bowl if they don't make that move. If they had stuck with Geno Smith and not gone to Sam Darnold, they probably would have been 11-6 and out in the first or second round this year. So give that guy a tremendous amount of credit, and I think he is here to stay.
Really?
As a good top 10, top 12 quarterback.
I said top 10, and I've been ridiculed about it. I think the last 2 years the numbers have been more like top 5. Sam Darnold and the Seahawks going to the Super Bowl. Patriots. Jerry Brewer on tonight. I'll get you back, Jerry. We'll talk about more. I appreciate you coming on. He's with The Athletic now. Jerry, thanks a lot.
Oh, anytime, man.
Appreciate it. Jerry Brewer on tonight, national sports columnist for The Athletic now. Covered the Seahawks win in Seattle Sunday night, and Sam Darnold to the Super Bowl. Husker basketball is in the news tonight. Top 5 matchup with Michigan. Is Nebraska basketball here to stay this year? March Madness making a run. Jake Sorensen, former Husker alum and morning host at 93.7 The Ticket out of Lincoln. His take coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
You never know what kind of weather Mother Nature has planned. Be ready in a 4x4 or all-wheel drive from Denny Menhold Toyota. Shop a great selection of used trucks and sport utilities and the area's best selection of used Toyotas and Toyota certified pre-owned. Get financing as low as 4.99% APR for up to 60 months on certified pre-owned, including RAV4s. See us at Denny Menhold Toyota or DennyMenholdToyota.com. 1887 per 1,000 finance, regardless of down. Offers with qualified credit. Expires 1/5/26.
At Connect Home Center, they've been a part of the Mead Lumber family since 2000. Now, they're bringing everything together under one trusted name, Mead Lumber. Don't worry, your favorite team, great service, and high-quality products aren't going anywhere. Connect Home Center is becoming Mead Lumber. Same people, same service, just a new name. From design to finish, here for you every step of the way. Check them out at meadlumber.com.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Great news. I just got the State Farm personal price plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan Jensen at Physio. We want to be your trusted partner for physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab. As the official strength and conditioning partners for Stevens, Central, Douglas, and the Rapid City Rush, our team at Physio is building the best athletes in the Black Hills. If you have an athlete in the family, we offer long-term athlete development at affordable prices for middle and high school students. We also have the only board-certified sports PT in Rapid City. At our brand new facility, Physio is ready to help you perform at your best. One-on-one physical therapy, athlete development, and sports rehab, all at one place. Get started at bhphysio.com.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
All right, we are live on The Nate Brown Show across the state of South Dakota. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here. Jake Sorensen's in. He's watching the game right now. I'm not going to go for the play-by-play, but Nebraska is up on Michigan. Last I checked it, 50-44. It's about a minute left until halftime, so we're timing this good. Huskers are up on Michigan almost halftime. 50 points on the board for the Huskers. Jake Sorensen covers the Huskers on 93.7 The Ticket every morning. Early break on The Ticket in Lincoln. Jake, good to have you, man. How you feeling?
This is wild, man. Like, just so people know, Nebraska, again, is at number 2 Michigan without their sixth man, Braden Frager, without Rick Mass, who's battling the flu. So you're down a guy that could be a second or first team All-Big Ten player. And they have, like you said, 50 points. It is 50-46 with 39 seconds to go in the first half. I mean, these guys are incredible. They are.
I want your take. I mean, people are going to keep saying Nebraska basketball, can they sustain this? Well, I mean, they're going for win number 20, so you can't say, oh, no, they can't. How's this team doing it? You're saying these guys are good. They're scoring 50 points and a half. They're on pace to score 100. I doubt they'll get there. How are they doing it? How's Hoiberg got this going?
Well, I mean, when Hoiberg was hired, he was known as one of the best offensive coaches in basketball, and he has proved that. Again, the first couple years were rough. He didn't get the right guys, didn't get the right meshes. The last 3 years, it's been a good team. 2 years ago, made the dance for the first time since Tim Miles' second year at Nebraska in that 13-14 year. And then last year, they had a tournament team that just kind of crashed at the end. They ended up making the crown in Vegas and winning that tournament. And ever since then, like right now, I mean, they're 20-0. They went 4 games in that tournament. They've won 24 straight games. And to answer your question, it's the most unselfish team you've ever seen. Like, there are no sticky hands in terms of, I need this many shots. Like, Price Sanford can hit a bunch of shots. DeMarcus Lawrence has 16 points in the first half. Sam Hoiberg has been incredible for Nebraska. Obviously, Fred's son. And now it's a 2-point game at halftime. But they love playing together. And like, it has been the greatest joy of my lifetime to be able to cover and watch these guys. And I'll tell you what, Nate, I'm 34 years old. I've watched Nebraska since I was 6 years old. I will tell you, I never thought this could happen with Nebraska. And they are as legit as it comes. They are for real.
This is interesting. I'm just trying to describe the culture of Nebraska basketball. You guys, I mean, you've told me if you go to a game and people that know Nebraska, the fans are great. There's a ton of passion. I mean, it's just Nebraska fans. I love Nebraska fans and the passion. So they're even passionate about a program that hasn't won a tournament game, that's really been struggling. What do you think this does for Hoiberg recruiting and actually building this now? Is this just a one-off here?
No, I don't think it is. And you've got some pieces. Price Sanford is a junior. He'll be back next year. Braden Frager, I mentioned off the bat, is a redshirt freshman from Lincoln. Didn't play his high school senior year at Lincoln Southwest. Decided to go redshirt with Nebraska last year, and that has worked wonders. Again, he's not playing tonight, but he had an ankle injury against Washington. But he's had a couple 20-point games this year. He's back for the next couple of years. So, yeah, you lose pieces like Rick Mass to graduation, Sam Hoiberg. Jamarcus Lawrence will be a huge loss next year, but they got guys that'll come back, and I think they like their class coming in. A couple guys from the high school ranks that I've watched their film. They're good shooters. Like, Fred's finally getting a collection of good shooters that don't need to have every every possession go in their hands. So I think Fred got rid of his original GM. It just didn't work out with Matt Abdelmassi, and ever since he's gone, it's just been a better picture of players that mesh, and it's not just trying to find the most expensive player you can to come with talent. Like they've had NBA guys on really bad teams here. So yes, I think that Fred is fortunate he was not let go in the first 3 years. But you got to remember they won 7 games, and 10 games his first 3 years. It was terrible. They were 9-50 in Big Ten play at one point in Fred's tenure. So it's been a game of patience, but man, is it paying off.
Jake Sorensen's on tonight. The game's at half. Huskers are up 50-48 on Michigan in a top 5 college basketball matchup on Peacock as we get ready to wrap up the show. Jake's on 93.7 The Ticket in Lincoln watching this one. So Huskers trying to hang on, going at 21-0. What does a deep run of Husker basketball do for a Nebraska fan base, though? I'm talking a deep run like in the tournament. What's that going to be like if they can do it?
Oh, everything. Like you said earlier, Nate, I mean, this is, we all know, this is the only Power 4 team, Power 5 team that's never won a game of the dance. So you get a high seed, you get that first win, you get that massive monkey off your back. And so, like right now, obviously this team wants to go far, this fan base wants to advance, but when you've never, ever won a game, right now, really, to say, as long as you get that one win, like, we're happy, we're satisfied, and then go be as great beyond that. So, this team believes, this fan base believes they can do some great things, and they have the full support. But what it'll mean to the fan base is that this is a football program that's failing. They're frankly not doing as well as they should under Matt Rule in 19-19, and so for basketball to finally awaken itself from a lifelong slumber would mean the world. I mean, here's the thing: that PBA is now Pinnacle Bank Arena. It was built in 2014, and every year, even through these bad years, has been basically a top 10 in attendance in the country. These tickets are getting out of control to get. They're high price, and I am so thrilled to see it because it means that the program is finally delivering what it should with Fred and what it should with that wonderful arena that we have in downtown Lincoln.
All right, Nebraska ball. I remember Jake Sorensen not so long ago tweeting about it and just lamenting. I mean, you're just struggling. I remember all of these. And now we've come full circle. Nebraska's ranked number 5, 20-0, up by 2 at the half on number 3, Michigan. 93.7 The Ticket. He'll be on in the morning in Lincoln. Jake, let's pull it off tonight, man. I wish you the best of luck. Thanks for coming on.
You bet. Thanks for having me, Nate.
Appreciate you. Jake Sorensen with an update on Husker basketball. You can tell his passion. He's been watching, just like you guys, the struggles. Nebraska's 20-0. They put up 50 on Michigan in the first half. We are at halftime. The Huskers trying to hang on, move to 21-0. I'm getting texts about Nebraska basketball from guys. I mean, that's life-changing. I've never seen it. Jake Sorensen on tonight. He's on early break, 93.7 The Ticket out of Lincoln. Who's hot and who's not? We wrap up the show. It's brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. Which NFL team has had the most coaching changes? How many coaches in the past 25 years? I got the number coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number 1. So you can always be their number 1. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number 1 hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's your last chance to lock in 2025 pricing on our Acclaim replacement windows and ensemble entry doors. Get 20% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Pay nothing till 2027. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. If you've been thinking about replacing those drafty, outdated doors or windows, now is the time. Call today or visit RVARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Are there as many kinds of vehicles as there are kinds of people? We think so. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every ride.
Interviews and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, let's do this. Wrap it up tonight on the Nate Brown Show. Who's hot and who's not, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, locations at East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, and in Brandon. Great location in Brandon, Fun Zone Arcade. Booked your birthday party there for the kids. It's outstanding. Home of everyone's favorite buffet, your locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch. Who's hot and who's not? What do we got tonight? I thought these stats were interesting. They just came out. Number of head coaches for each NFL team since 2000. Okay, we just started 2026. Number of NFL head coaches for each team since 2000. Who's in by who's hot? Who's had the most coaches since 2000? The Raiders. 17 different coaches since 2000. The Browns, 13. The Lions and Dolphins, 12. Where's my Broncos at? Broncos have had 10 different coaches since 2000. 10. How about the teams that have had the least coaching changes? Steelers, just 3 different coaches in the last 25 years. Ravens and Patriots. Ravens and Patriots. Not a lot of change there. And our Pizza Ranch, who's not? Speaking of coaching changes, Sean Payton fired the offensive coordinator, Joe Lombardi, today. Sean, you call the plays. You went for it on 4th down. See you tomorrow. Thanks for listening.
So why do teenagers play high school sports?
My reason why is a set